In this video, I'm going to explain how to take off light fixtures using PlanSwift. Now, the purpose of taking off light fixtures is to get a quote on them, okay? When you're estimating commercial or industrial electrical, you have to send a count of light fixtures to your fixture vendor or your wholesale supplier to get pricing, to get a quote, what we call a lot price. They quote you for all the cost of all the fixtures. Now, on the screen in front of me, I have a page. It's a lighting page here open, and I just want to explain kind of as an overview. You would go read all the general notes here, the lighting plan notes, and you'd read all the notes on the page. But what I'm going to do is just show you, just down and dirty, how to count light fixtures. Now, I'm not talking about using Red Rhino to count them. I'm talking about just getting a list of the count of fixtures so you can send it out for quote, okay? I want to make that clear. Now, next screen, I'll show the fixture schedule, and I'll show you what I do with that. Here we see the light fixture schedule on the left here. And I want to explain what I do with this. Now, this is actually on this drawing. It's a whole page and it takes up the entire page with the lighting control diagram, okay? I'm not going to concern myself with the lighting control diagram. I want to show you what I do. Well, let me just show you. So I go to the page tab at the top here, click on page. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to crop this as a new page and I'm going to name it. Now, long story short, what I actually do is I print out this light fixture schedule. You can't read this right now. I haven't blown it up, but I'm just showing you how I do this. I print this out literally, sit it on my desk, even though I'm counting on screen for quick reference to be able to do this quickly. So I just click crop as new page. I literally just put my cursor on here. I left click and drag it and just let go. And then it asks me to name it. I'm just going to call it light fixture schedule. Sometimes I might put the name of the project in there actually, okay? Normally I would, but in this instance I won't. And then I just click OK. Now what that does is it actually appears in my drawings as a separate document. I just cropped it as a new page. Let me just go over here and click this little arrow here to expand this navigation pane. And we see that it put this fixture schedule at the bottom in a separate document. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the lighting plan and I'm going to discuss that a little bit more. Okay, let me blow this thing up. Okay, I'm just going to make notice, or I'm going to explain something. I don't have to pay attention, or I don't have to pay much attention to what these light fixtures actually are, except when I need a lineal measurement of them. Okay, now let me explain this a little bit further. Let me just blow this up and I'll just kind of think out loud here what I'm looking at here. So look, I see that there's an exit sign here and there's a D1 type fixture right here. There's a G1, and over here I see some B1 light fixtures and B1 emergency light fixtures, okay? Now here's what I want to point out. I happen to know, because I looked at the notes, that C1 light fixture is actually, it's a linear tape fixture. And I also know that these RPSs are actually low voltage power supplies and they have different VA ratings, okay? So I'm going to count those also. Now, let me show you how I do this. Again, the purpose is just count them lightning fast, but accurate, so I can send off for a price for fixtures. Okay, now I'm going to change back to the home page up here. I should say the home tab up here. Click on the home tab. Okay, what I do is I put this fixture schedule in front of me. I showed you that. It's actually right here. And I actually have this on my desktop. Now let me blow this up just a little bit. Again, you want to glance at these and kind of know what they are, but for the most part, unless it's a lineal measurement that I need, I'm just going to count these fixtures real quick. Now notice it says up here, it says indicates fixture is used. So the ones that don't have that dot aren't used. I won't bother setting up to count them. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the lighting plan. And let me just say before I do, I'm going to count the B1 fixture. I just count them in order, the B1 emergency, the C1, the D1, and so on. Again, what I'm going to count first is the B1 fixture type, okay? So here's what you got to do. You got to go up here and just click on the count drop down. And you can pick the shape. Let me say it again. You can select what shape you want it to count. I'm going to select a plus sign here, and then I can also select the color. If I see this color, click on that drop down. There's a color palette here. I'm just going to leave it that color, but I want you to know that, of course, I'll make each one a different color to delineate them differently. But here's the thing you have to know. I'm just going to again leave it that color. Okay, here's the thing, you want to name it here. So as I said, I'm counting B1 fixtures. I'm simply just going to type B1 right there. Now, when I do, if I want to change the shape, I can do it over here. I can just click the drop down, change it to circle, square, plus, triangle, diamond, etc. Again, I'm going to keep it as a plus sign, but I just want you to know that you can change it there if you want to. Now, normally when I'm estimating and counting light fixtures using Red Rhino, I would select a folder. In this instance down here, in this instance, I will not. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK. Now it digitized, that little red dot up here means it's digitizing, ready to count. And all I do is I scroll all over and click on the screen. Now I'm zooming in here, and I'm just going to count B1s. I can count right on it or over it. I like to count next to it. So there's my B1. Now I'm just going to count a few of these so you get the idea. But you see how quick this happens? I just go look up all the B1s in here, and I would count every single one. Now in this instance, I won't do that because I'm communicating the idea to you. Now when I'm done, I stop or click on digitizer to stop counting. Then I would go back in and count the next light fixture. Now, of course, if I was doing this again, I would count all of them at one time, okay? So next I would do the B1 emergencies, and let me expand this over here. If I go over here and click this little plus sign, we see that there's 9 B1s counted, okay? So eventually I'm going to refer back to this when I'm completely done. I'm going to refer back to it, and I'm going to send off for a quote of the count of fixtures that I come up with. Okay, so next I'm going to set up to count B1 EM fixtures, emergency fixtures. So I click on count. I'll do plus signs again. It automatically selects a different country, or color, I should say. Wow. And I'm going to just type in B1 /EM for emergency light, just like it's on the takeoff, or I should say on the light fixture schedule. I click OK. Again, I zoom in as I need to. Just go in here and count, click, click, click. All the B1 emergency lights. Now again, I'm just showing you how. I'm not going to go count them all, but this happens very quickly. And if you miss one, you can always go back and recount or add to your list there, okay? Again, to stop digitizing, I click the little red dot at the top. It stops digitizing. Now, again, when I'm all done counting this, I'm going to put this count actually back on the light fixture schedule and send it off for a quote. Now, let me show you the other part of this. I mentioned that the RPS is actually a low voltage power supply that drives or feeds these tape lights, okay? So that said, I would go count the RPSs. There's 150 VA and 200 VA. Okay, look, I already showed you how I would do that, so I won't do it again. What I want to show you though is I want to show you how I would measure on screen the distance of tape that I need. Now let me back out of this so we can kind of get the big picture here a little bit. You know what, just in a quick reference, these tape lights are the same length, probably these 3 of these, 4 and 5 of them, with 2 other ones down here. So all I need to measure is 1 of these, and I just know that there's 5 the same size, and then I'll go measure these. These are actually the same size also. I'll measure 1 of these to come up with the quantities I need. And again, I would just write this on the takeoff sheet, or I should say on the light fixture schedule. Now, that said, you have to you have to set the scale. I happen to know the scale on this drawing is 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. So I click the little scale there before I measure anything, or and click inch, 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. Okay, so the scale has to be set, and then long story short is I'm going to measure now. So I'm just going to click on dimension here. And again, it digitizes. I just click from point, drag my mouse across here, and click again, and it's going to show me a total distance. So I click here, I go over here. See how it says it's 12 foot 3 3/16? I'm going to call it 12 foot 4 inches. So I click on that. It's 12 foot 4 inches. I know I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, 12 foot 4 inches. So I would just write that down. Eventually, again, it would go on the light fixture schedule. And then I'll measure this guy. So I stop digitizing. I do it again. I click on dimension. I go down here, click once, move my cursor across the page, and click again. And there's 5 foot 4 inches. Okay, so I know I need 5 tapes, LED tapes, 12 foot 4 and 2 5 foot 4 inch long. Okay, I hope that helps. Now, the other thing I do from there is, again, I just go to the, I misspelled it there, I see, the light fixture schedule, and I actually print this out and write on it with a pen or ink the quantities across here. Now, if you have a PDF editor, you can save this as a PDF and just go type it in here and send it to your wholesale house, okay? So that's how I do it. I come up with a total count, digitizing, counting, like, and then it shows me the quantities that I counted here. And again, I just write the quantities on here on a piece of paper that I've printed out and copy it and send it to my fixture vendor for pricing. I hope this helps. You know, this is a really small project, and you can count these really fast. It took me a lot longer. It probably took me longer to explain how to do this than it would count the fixtures on that small estimate. If you get into a really big estimate, it's the same thing. On each page, you'll go count the light fixtures. Okay, hope that helps.